What if I told you I have the answer from the homegirl? In fact, I actually have the homegirl here today. I've got Dianna Hornes with Atlantic Communities, the Hornes Group,
That's right.
here at Mortgage Right today.
Holding down the
Dianna,
fort.
Dianna, thanks for coming in.
Yes,
Dianna, you were a guest on our segment on financing the American Dream back in
that's
December
right.
of 2022, all the way back almost a year ago now. We filmed it in, I think it was October or November of last
November,
year.
yes.
So we're sort of reevaluating, coming back and figuring out what's happening in the market today, and that's what everybody wants to know. What's going on in the market today?
So right now what's going on in the market is there's not enough houses out there, and the houses that are out there, they're either crap or not worth what they're trying to ask for, in most people's humble opinion. But there are some really good finds out there, but they're going to be few and far between. Interest rates are still high, but they're not really high. They're high to where people's memories are. And that's just making it a little bit tough because what they feel that is more than enough to be, what they can afford is just not bridging the gap from what they're needing to find in a home. So that's making it a little bit difficult these days. And we are still experiencing multiple offer situations, and that's adding a little bit of the dynamics to it that it's just really hard for buyers at the moment right now. So it's still very much a seller's market in my humble opinion.
Right. So patience is a virtue in this particular market.
Very much so.
From the buyer, the seller, and probably the agents and the mortgage guys too.
Oh
Probably,
yeah.
yeah, right. All right. So similar to last year, we saw a little bit of a slowdown in existing homes being listed. And I've shown over the years, I've shown graphs where we've seen, really that buying season picks up, and then, come October, November, December, we see a little bit of a dip. I mean, is that what we're seeing right now? What's going on?
It's a little bit of what we're experiencing right now. Even though Q4 had, in my business, I've always seen a little bit of an uptick. I am noticing year over year that it has declined ever so slightly, but just trying to roll with the punches and go with it. And, just folks they're holding close to their purse strings and they're a little nervous, and that's where working with professionals like Darin and I will come in handy because we can guide you through that uncertainty. And we're not just trying to get a commission out of this. We're very, very wanting to help and provide and do the right thing to you. That's why we're in the business that we are. We would not have lasted this long had we not had good intentions.
No, that's a great point. I think a lot of times when we're doing these videos and we're talking to people, we're posting, it's all about they're just trying to get a commission. And listen, we do make a commission. I make a commission when a mortgage closes. Dianna makes a commission when a house closes. But as you mentioned, I've been doing this for 22 years. How long have you been doing this?
Just under 10 years, and a good majority of the folks that I work with are all based on referrals, and that's people that they know, like, and trust me, and then they refer them out to their friends and family. And if I wasn't providing the right service with the right information, then my name would be something that was forgotten really easily.
Absolutely. And I can assure you, being in the mortgage industry for 22 years, you have to have good intentions
Yes.
or you would have been spit out a long
ago.
time ago. So, all right, well, what about, you just recently took on a position with American Dream Atlanta.
Selling Atlanta.
Tell us a little bit about what's going on there.
Right now, we're just, trying to get the information about American Dream. It's nothing but positive information about your community, about giving back, and I love the concept behind it, and I love that I was given the opportunity to work with American Dream TV. It's been a lot of fun. So far, I filmed one episode. I have my next one coming up soon, and it's just going to be a great thing to get local involvement out to the public, and what I love about my community, being able to express that to the rest of the world.
Right. Now, can you give us a little bit of a sneak peek of what you talked about or what you filmed?
So when it comes to American Dream TV, they do talk about having a plan A, B, C, and possibly D, and we did have to go through that route, but it was a great experience. I do have a friend out in Dahlonega, and Dahlonega is one of those towns that a lot of people forget that's there, and how it came about. and we just had fun, mined some gold, and actually, it's going to air this month, actually next week.
Excellent.
And I did meet with a good friend of mine who is a psychic medium, and she's also a tea shop owner.
Oh, yeah?
So kind of brought the little mystic world into it just in time for Halloween, for all those
right.
Halloweenies out there.
Now, speaking of Halloween, that's sort of your thing, right? That's your big,
you
one of
see,
your biggest holidays. You got all fired up and
Yes,
excited.
I
Talk
love
about
Halloween. I'm a little weird. I don't know if some of y'all who know me, I'm a little different than the mold, but I do have a love for Halloween, all things scary and creepy. But I have a heart of gold, so that's all that matters. But I do throw a kick-ass Halloween party every year,
Sure.
and we're gonna have a blast. And did a little bit of change up in how we're gonna have it, so hopefully the people that are able to attend can get a kick out of it and talk about it for the next year until the next one comes around.
So what I love about what you do on a marketing side of things is you really embrace the love you have for Halloween. Last year you had a total theme where your family, the entire family, took part, and then this year you have a whole nother theme. So talk about last year's theme and this year's theme and what you're trying to accomplish.
So last year's things, I don't do things normal at all. When it comes to family photos, I am not the traditional mom where we're going to go stand in a field somewhere and have matchy clothes. Not that there's anything
nothing
wrong with
that.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just it's not me, and it doesn't light up my black heart. But so my family, as loving as they are, only kicked and screamed ever so slightly, but they ended up rolling with the punches. So we ended up doing a theme of the Addams family last year. My husband was Gomez, I was Morticia, I have 2 daughters, so they were both Wednesday, and our son was Pugsley. And this year we did a little twisted tea party where I was the Queen of Hearts. My daughter was Alice, my husband was the Mad Hatter, my son was the White Rabbit, and my other daughter was the Cheshire Cat. And we did it kind of a creepy vibe to it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, this wasn't like the colorful cartoon Mad Hatter, Alice in Wonderland. This was definitely a spooky version. I don't know what you want to call that, but okay. So, all right, let's bring it back to real estate a little bit.
Oh.
So, yeah, I know, got to pull you back some. So, you're a veteran.
Yes, I am.
Tell everybody about what you served, how you serve others. Your background and why you love military and first responders so much.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for recognizing that. I do appreciate that. I was in the Air Force for 6 years. I was a mechanic in the Air Force. I also worked in protocol. So basically, it's a glorified party planner for officers 06 and above. Not a lot of people know what protocol is. And after that, just seeing different ebbs and flows of how people treat military, how they don't, how they honor them, how they don't, to each their own. But I wanted a way to say thank you to all the veterans out there. And when I met husband 2.0, 2.0 is an upgrade, he is a first responder, and he is first responder for City of Woodstock out here where we live. And just the two of us combined, we wanted a way to say thank you for veterans and first responders service. So a portion of our commission always goes back to help veterans and first responders buy and sell houses. And it's just one of the things that we like to do, and we like to partner with different folks who give back as well. And it just makes it for an all-around great experience. And they put their life on the line so much every single day they put on a uniform. And the least I can do is appreciate that and just say thank you. And
Yeah.
I put my money where my mouth is. So
Yeah, you certainly do. My wife and I were driving down Main Street the other day, and the police officers were directing traffic. I don't know what was going on, but I was like, I did a mortgage for that guy. We did a mortgage for that guy. This gentleman, and so it's cool to take part in how much you love first responders, and just to be a small part of that and help facilitate their ability to buy a home and accomplish that American dream. So. I love that about you, and so thank you for taking care of the first responders like you do. You do a phenomenal job, and you're very well versed when it comes to VAs as well.
Yes.
So tell everybody about VA mortgages and some of the benefits that are out there.
So oddly enough, I have worked with some veterans that did not realize the VA entitlement that they do have. And some of them just don't think that they signed up for it or were eligible for it, or somehow they think that they missed out on it. And just being able to be their advocate and like ask them those certain questions like, hey, did you get an honorable discharge? Hey, were you blah, 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 blah? And they're like, yes, yes. I'm like, well, you know what? You're actually, according to what I know, eligible for your VA entitlement. And that can be, you can do a 0% down, or not percent, zero down for your VA loan, but there are options for you to actually put money down if that's something that interests you. But just for me is getting it out there, because not a lot of veterans know that they have this entitlement, and that floors me.
Yeah.
So.
And it's a lot easily obtained, you know, especially if you work with somebody like us. We actually help a lot of folks collect or obtain that certificate of eligibility, and it's just a matter of filling out really an application that we can do for you. So,
Yeah.
but it starts with asking the right questions.
That's right.
and making certain you're doing your job, I'm doing my job when I'm talking with somebody with a mortgage application. You know, did you serve? Are you a reservist? You know, those type of things, and then we can go down that process. So now, American Dream, not the TV show. Is the American Dream still a house, white picket fence, the dog, the kids? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, in my world, it has a 12-foot skeleton in that yard. But yes, it is still very much alive, and there are many, many folks out there who dream of owning a house, something that is their own, and it is my duty to make sure that I educate them with, if there is ever a credit hiccup that they might experience, they've conveyed to me. It's like, hey, let's get you to the right person to start pre-planning. So 100%, the American Dream is out there for many, many people. And it's our job to get to them before the wrong person does. My biggest thing is I need to get to them to help them, to guide them, to educate them before the wrong person does. With the good, there is the bad. And my whole goal is to get there before the bad so they have a great experience with their home purchase.
So when it comes to just sort of helping folks navigate that American Dream, you know, in my opinion, it seems as though it's kind of been skewed a little bit. You know, feel like a lot of people, and I do understand that housing values have increased. Affordability is a major issue.
Yes.
We both realize
Yes,
that.
absolutely.
So I feel like a lot of people have been sold that this American Dream that we just talked about is dead, but it's very much alive.
It is.
You know, if you think about it, who are the ones that are selling you that it's dead? The ones that are buying up the houses then renting back to you.
Their motives are to create that wealth for themselves and to keep, you know, in my humble opinion, keep it from being obtainable to others, because what they collect for themselves obviously is just for them. But we want to make sure that we are still asking the right questions. We are still getting people that want houses. We are helping them get qualified for houses. We are creating a strategy for them to obtain that American Dream, because it helps create generational wealth, and it has for many, many years for many, many people. So why not you? Why not them? Why not us?
Right. And I think too, I think everybody needs to take a step back and realize that you don't necessarily have to buy a $500,000 to $700,000 house as your first house.
Nope.
You know, I understand that, you know, with social media, the world as a whole, you know, we see so many things and we want a lot of these things, but you don't realize what it takes. A lot of times we need to take a step back and really work and start small baby steps, if you will, to get to that point to where you can use your equity and roll it into the next one and continue to build. It doesn't always have to come at the first home you buy.
No, it doesn't.
And you do have to sacrifice a little bit, I guess is
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say, in my opinion.
And that's where working with a professional will help you as well, because you may have a laundry list of 42 items that you need in your first time home, but working with someone like me or another real estate professional, and Darin, we can talk through these items and make sure it's like what it is that really matters to you in a home. We want to make sure that that's what comes out, not that the paint color is off.
Right.
Well, we can always buy a $30 can of paint and fix that ourselves.
Right.
But just wanting to make sure that they are, you know, have the right information and getting it to them.
What do you say to people that are waiting on a crash?
People have been saying about crashes for quite some time, and you know, had you expected that crash 2 years ago, I mean, you'd still be waiting, or you are still waiting for that crash. And the people that are just jumping in and just saying, let's go for it, those are the people that are winning. Had you bought the house a year ago when a lot of the naysayers were like, oh my God, this world's coming to an end and it's going to crash, then you would be sitting in a different position. But if you waited and waited and waited and waited, it's kind of like the biggest procrastination ever. It's like you have to strike when the iron's hot, and the best time to buy a house is now. the same thing can be said with what's the analogy, when's the best time to plant a tree 10 years ago, when's the
Right.
next best time is today. And with interest rates being high, and I use air quotes with that, I mean, you can always refinance. And it sounds so easy to do, but is this the house for you? You know, marry the house, date the rate, or I'm not good with analogies.
Yeah, marry the house, date the rate. But certainly we don't, I mean, when we talk to folks, we tell them,
You don't do it irresponsibly
Yeah,
either.
exactly. I mean, we want to make certain that you understand that you do have to take the worst case scenario. You're not necessarily guaranteed you're going to get a refinance. We think the probability is very, very high, but there's no guarantees in anything. Neither one of us have a crystal ball for sure. All right, so where can everybody find you? What's the best way to contact Dianna Hornes?
Well, there's carrier pigeon smoke signals. I'm kidding. You can find me on social media, Instagram, TikTok, all of that at Dianna Atlanta, or you can always just Google Dianna Hornes, and my Google page should be there, as well as phone numbers 404-793-3312. But other than that, just, social media, email, the fun ways, and text message. I communicate best with however the person is in front of me wants to communicate. So if you want to send smoke signals, then by all means send smoke signals. Bat light,
Whatever it is.
Whatever
Home girl up on the light.
Home girl, I'm like,
Absolutely.
oh, there it is.
All right, well, as always, it's always a pleasure. We've been working together for a while now.
Yes.
We've been friends. We've become friends over the
Yes.
years, and it's truly an honor to work with you, and I'm
It's an honor to
thankful.
work with
Oh, please. I'm thankful for everything that you do for us in this community, and we're in downtown Woodstock. We're at Mortgage Right. My name is Darin Hunter. This is the homegirl, Dianna Hornes. And don't forget to like, follow, subscribe,
That's right.
and follow along as Dianna gets you into your next dream home. That's another guaranteed interview. My name's Darin Hunter. Thanks, Dianna.